I hope you've all found this morning useful. I mean, trying to introduce the scientific side and bring it together with the real estate and talking about how real estate needs to be adjusted in order to have that happen successfully. I think this is an ongoing discussion that we need to basically educate and inform about, and that's why we've essentially launched NYC Builds Bio Plus. Some of you had joined us at our Life Science Real Estate Symposium in June. That meeting had over 300 people there. It was sold out, as is this meeting. And basically, it was comprised of design professionals, construction engineers, building owners, developers, scientists, all coming together to discuss how we reframe New York City using biology. And we even had an artist there who does large light installations, talking about how she uses biology as the basis for inspiration for her. Some of you may have worked with her. And so we intended the symposium to be really the first in a series of events to really foster this kind of collaboration in the city. And so our goal is to educate life science and real estate professionals, increase the number of life science real estate opportunities, and jumpstart development in New York City in a way that will foster a large and growing cluster like that, which is located in Boston and San Francisco right now. We have just launched our website, so I encourage you to check it out. And we've been talking about a lot of different kinds of activities to connect the two sectors together: events, research reports, educational programs. Obviously, this will take some time for us to get up and running, but we're targeting a number of activities for next year, identifying and promoting those areas that are amenable to life science development in the city, increasing the knowledge and awareness of life science trends so that you understand what's going on in the scientific and medical worlds, encouraging interest in and information about retrofitting existing buildings for life science use, collaborative exchanges, public awareness, public policy, as Carlo just mentioned, and holding meetings, workshops, and events to discuss all of this. So our calendar of events for next year, we will be hosting small gatherings that will be exclusive networking opportunities. We'll have a quarterly breakfast. This is the first. So there'll be 3 scheduled for next year. In the third quarter, we will have our annual Life Science Symposium, the second one again. We plan to publish an annual white paper in the spring, develop a number of working groups, which I'll show you in a minute, and develop some educational programs and workshops really on the technical aspects of leases, life science leases, and how they're different from office leases. You know, what do you need in a building? How do you evaluate a building? And eventually, we would love to do some lab crawls and neighborhood tours so that you can educate yourself about what's out there, and also create a database of buildings where owners and developers can basically put their buildings in it for life science tenants that are looking for space. And life science tenants can access it to find what they're looking for. This will be a membership-driven organization, and so we welcome all of you to participate as members. And there's some membership materials out on the registration desk. Please pick some up, and you can also find that on our website. And become a member. It will give you lots of benefits in this growing community, and it will also help to support our activities. So the types of members, we have real estate companies, we have investors, we have life science companies. The memberships are priced differently because life science companies who are startups are often not making any money and devoting all of their money towards research. So you'll notice that that pricing is different. We also have memberships for institutions, public agencies, and economic development councils, as well as consultants and service providers. So take a look at that, and we're happy to answer any questions. And these are the ways that you can become involved. These are the working groups that we're thinking about forming. So if you're interested in mission and branding or membership development or events or research, contributing to our research, database creation or policies for life sciences, we'll be creating small groups that will meet monthly to work on those topics. You can become a member, and you can obviously, like Gensler, which we really appreciate the support, host a quarterly breakfast like they did today, where we're all enjoying this event. So those are ways that you can become involved, and I just want to open it up to our steering committee of both the symposium and the breakfast, and now the board of NYC Builds Bio, to talk about what they see this doing in the city and what they would like to see happen with the bringing of these communities together.
Well, good morning again. When Nancy and I sat down probably a year and a half ago, and she brought the idea of trying to bridge the gap between the real estate community and the life science community, and having been in both for almost 40 of my 42-year career, it never really dawned on me just how big a gap there was. When we were starting on the Genome Project, we looked at, and I'm looking at Bill, 100 buildings, 95 of which didn't have a clue what the life science market was, what it would do for them, and how could they take advantage of it. And it became abundantly clear that there was truly a knowledge gap between these two major players in New York. The real estate community, which certainly those of us in the design industry, this is our lifeblood. And then on the health science side. And it became abundantly clear we needed to do something. Nancy took the initiative. I took the bait and recruited the guys to my left to go with us. But it has become, and the more involved we are, the more apparent it is that there is still a major knowledge gap. And I think the reason the symposiums have been as successful as they have been, because there is clearly a desire for both sides to bridge the gap. And this, I think, is still a terrifically unique opportunity to do it. It's incumbent upon us in the industry to make it happen, and I think this is going to be a terrific forum for it.
Great.
Pass the mic down.
Didn't I hear you just rub that?
So I think what Mitch just said, we heard it here, right? Nicole, thank you for coming up, but a simple thing like, how do we deal with the garbage, right? There is a huge gap here in what people think the life sciences is. And we have such a great city here in New York City. We have such great different businesses that exist here, and this can be a huge hub for life sciences. So, this group is really a huge resource for everybody. There's a lot of knowledge here. There's a lot of information that we're all willing to share and help with all the questions that come out there. And it is still really a big education process, like Mitch brought up. So please utilize us. As I said, we're a huge resource that's available.
Does this work? Okay. So I would just say this group all worked on the Genome Center together, and that's how we came together with Bill. And so we kind of lived through the process, and at that point in time, there were a very limited number of spaces that were available that actually could suit those needs. That, as we've indicated today, is changing. We're working with Vornado on the Farley building, and so it's very exciting to see how they're envisioning it and what they're thinking about. I talked to Scott a little bit on the way out because one of the questions I raised was, well, how are you dealing with financing, given that you're projecting rents of a certain amount in connection with some of these life science uses, but it's not a proven commodity yet in New York. And I think so a lot of money that's chasing that is really equity money today. But I think as those things are proven out, you'll find that the debt markets will follow that. So I think there's a lot of interest from the real estate community, which is the perspective that I come from. But I think that what this group does is kind of bring those different disciplines together in a way where people can collaborate and really create something unique in New York, and obviously with the city benefits, for which we're always grateful, in order to try and foster and facilitate that. So we welcome all of you to be a part of this. We think it's very exciting.
Does anyone have any questions or comments or?
Well, since you two have mics already. Wow. Did a terrific job.
They're busy going to
I
sign
answered
up.
all the
They're busy
questions.
going to sign up. They just want to get to the desk outside.
I'll say, certainly one of the things that I think that this provides a forum for is as issues come up, we have a strong community that we can draw from to get answers to the questions. Certainly, one of the goals, as I said earlier, was to help bridge the knowledge gap. One of the forums that we are going to be able to do through this group and this community is to set up education forums. As an example, most landlords really don't understand that there is more in common between the commercial real estate market and the life science than there is differences. Certainly, the investment you have to make for life science is greater, but you still need condenser water, you still need electricity, you still need elevators. And the issue for us as the design community is to educate our clients in what are the differences, and that they're not mutually exclusive. You can design a lab building that is still usable as a commercial office. That's your fallback position. The question is, how much are you willing to pre-invest to make that building flexible enough to accommodate a small band of life science, a bigger band, or the entire breadth of life science? Now, we know, as an example, East River Science Park was designed to handle the full breadth. It has Vivaria capability. In fact, it has Vivaria in it. Not every building will suit itself for that. But part of our job is to educate the community as to what are easy lifts and what are not so easy lifts. And then the market's going to tell us what they really need.
Right.
All right, so so both sides need to communicate. And I think this is a great opportunity and the right forum to do that.
Terrific. Well, thank you, everybody, for coming, and I hope you enjoyed the agenda.